Chantelle tapped her foot. Tap, tap, tap. She was at the park, standing by the big orange-rimmed sandbox. Her best friend Leo was supposed to be meeting her to build an epic sandcastle kingdom with bridges, turrets, and a moat big enough to sail a toy boat. "Where is he?" she muttered, kicking a tiny pebble. "He said 1 p.m. sharp. It's already 1:01 p.m. Chantelle looked up at the sky. A big white fluffy cloud seemed to be moving at a snail's pace, so slow. She looked at the grass. Even the sprinklers, which were on, seemed to be spraying water in slow motion. Drip, drip, drip. "This is taking forever." Chantelle sighed, stomping her foot, which sent a little puff of dust into the air. She felt a familiar, fizzy, hot air balloon feeling bubbling up in her tummy. It was her impatient feeling. "I should just start the castle myself," she decided. "I can't wait anymore." She grabbed a bucket and a shovel. As she scooped the dry sand, the bucket slipped, and the sand poured all over her sandals. "Ugh," she groaned. The wisdom of the watering can. Suddenly, a wise-looking woman with a big, floppy sun hat and a watering can appeared nearby. She was carefully watering a row of tiny, bright red flowers. Chantelle watched her for a moment. The woman didn't rush. She paused at each flower, giving it just the right amount of water, smiling softly. "Excuse me," Chantelle called out. "Aren't you worried about how slow that is? It's taking so long to water those little flowers." The woman looked up, her eyes twinkling. "Hello, young one. You seem to be in a great hurry. Are you fighting the slow-motion sprinklers too?" Chantelle nodded vigorously. "Yes, everything is moving too slowly. I want to play with Leo, but he's not here. And now the sand is all wrong, and I just feel hot and fizzy." The woman chuckled gently. "Ah, the hot and fizzy feeling. I know that one well. It's what happens when we try to hurry up time, but time doesn't like to be rushed." She held up the watering can. "Look at this little can. If I were to dump all this water quickly, what would happen to these small flowers?" "They'd be soaked," said Chantelle. "The dirt would float away." "Exactly," the woman said. "They need the water slowly so they can drink it up and grow strong. Waiting isn't about doing nothing. It's about giving things, like friendships or plants, or even a perfect sandcastle kingdom, the time they need to be just right." A new plan for the fizzy-feeling Chantelle looked at the sandbox. She realized that trying to build the castle alone, in a rush, had just made her frustrated and messy. "So, what should I do while I wait for Leo?" she asked. The woman smiled. "Instead of fighting the slow motion, why don't you notice something new? While you wait for Leo, you can prepare." Chantelle thought hard. She put down the shovel. "I know! I can draw the blueprint for the Sandcastle Kingdom." She grabbed a stick and started sketching lines in the dry part of the sand, designing the shape of the walls and the placement of the moat. She was so focused on drawing the perfect plan that she didn't even hear the tap, tap, tap of her impatient foot. The fizzy feeling in her tummy started to quiet down. "Aha, the great architect at work," a voice boomed. Chantelle looked up. It was Leo, holding a bucket, a big grin on his face. "Sorry I'm late. My dog Whiskers tried to hide my favorite shovel." Chantelle didn't feel hot or fizzy at all. She felt ready. "It's okay," she said, pointing to her drawing. "Look, I designed the whole castle while I waited. See, the moat goes here." Leo's eyes widened. "Wow, Chantelle, that's an amazing plan. We can start right away." As they started building their grand kingdom, Chantelle glanced over at the wise woman, who winked and then disappeared behind a tall bush. Chantelle smiled. She realized that the fizzy feeling of impatience was just a reminder to pause and find a way to make the waiting time productive or just interesting. And that day, they built the strongest, most perfectly planned sandcastle kingdom the park had ever seen. Because they didn't just rush into it, they gave it the time it needed to be just right. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.